Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a hot minute since I have posted a video, but we've had quite a few things, I guess, that I was gonna update you guys on, and are like, I guess it's an infertility journey now, instead of TTC. Well, I guess both, I guess. So I haven't really talked a whole lot on our trying to conceive journey. I don't even think I really like done a synopsis or like rundown of everything, so I'm gonna start with that. I'm also gonna insert a few clips into this video of like pregnancy tests and ovulation tests. And all right guys, hold on. Okay. As you've known, we were gonna try naturally this month. I'm 10 days past ovulation. I know it's quite early. You okay? My dog's over here choking. I know it's a little early, but I don't know, I've been really emotional and I've been super tired, and just a bunch of symptoms in my boobs have kind of hurt. So I thought, what's the harm in trying? So I already peed on it. I haven't looked at it. I guess, let's see. I don't think so. I don't even know if I can say I see it. Let's see if I can get you guys to focus. Yeah. Would say, oh, hold on. Hello. Focus. Yeah, so I would say that is pretty negative, but it's early still, so we still have time. I honestly don't really expect anything from this cycle or the next one. I mean, we've been trying for almost 3 years now and nothing, so I don't expect a whole lot. So, but I will keep you guys updated. But I guess we'll kind of rewind to like 2018. We got pregnant. Unfortunately, that pregnancy ended in a miscarriage at, I was somewhere between like 9 and 10 weeks. I started bleeding at like 7 weeks, just like very little bleeding, like spotting really, and it just continued. I went for tests, blood tests every 2 days for 3 weeks to watch my HCG levels. They never doubled, and then that last one that I had taken had dropped. So we knew that that pregnancy was not gonna end in us getting to bring home a baby. And since then, we've been trying and not had a baby. So I wanna say it was like July or August of 2020. We decided to go to the OBGYN and just like, kind of just like review everything. Like, I obviously have been pregnant before and had a baby and no problem. So I didn't know, I guess, where we should even start. So the first thing our OB did was we did a semen analysis on Taylor, and that all turned out fine. My doctor tested my hormones, make sure that I didn't have like a thyroid issue, was making sure that I was actually ovulating according to labs, and I was, make sure my progesterone levels were appropriate for where I was in my cycle, and they were. So as far as all that goes, that was all great and dandy. So the next thing was an HSG test, and I'm gonna put like up here what that, like the long version of it is, because I can't say it or pronounce it. It's like hysterosalpingogram, I think is how you say it. Basically they shoot dye up into your uterus and out your tubes to make sure that your tubes are open. My report read that my tubes were open, but when I think it's a rad tech or something that does it, she said that she was not getting much spill or like dye coming out of my left tube. And she's like, I'm gonna try to shoot more dye up in there and see if I can just like get it to open. She said sometimes it's blocked, and when we put that dye in there, it will spill. So that's what she did. Don't mind my dog, she just thinks that she needs to be part of everything. So then they told me to continue to try naturally the next couple of months, because if that tube was blocked and now it's open, we shouldn't have a problem getting pregnant. Haha, jokes on them, we did not get pregnant. And then I got a new job, we moved, and life had been kind of crazy since like the beginning of 2021, and we just like really hadn't had time to think much about next steps. We continue to try every month. I continue to take tests, ovulation and pregnancy tests. The amount of things I've peed on in the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years, is mind-blowing. We did not get pregnant, so talked to my OB in our old town, and they gave us a referral here where we are now, and we went to see Reproductive Endocrinology, and we just had that appointment actually a couple days ago. So the nurse practitioner that we saw reviewed all of my history, all of Taylor's history. We went through everything, and I told her, you know, like with my daughter, I got pregnant when I had the Implanon, or now it's called the Nexplanon, in my arm. It was a birth control like rod that goes in your arm. I got that taken out when I was like 16 weeks pregnant, so obviously got pregnant on that. And the doctor, the nurse practitioner, looked at me and she was like, well, why are you here? Like, you're obviously very fertile. And she was joking, of course. And I'm like, well, so I'm coming to see you, and that's why I'm paying you to tell me, because I don't know. So she's like, well, let's get an ultrasound. So we did an ultrasound, a transvaginal, and anybody that has had those knows how awful they are. And I felt like that one took forever. And turns out that left tube that I had talked about that had issues like spilling over and being open a few months back, almost actually a year and a half back, she said is very swollen. She called my tubes little sausages. And she said they both were pretty swollen. She said she's not really concerned about my right tube because looking at the images from my HSG shows that it is open, it is flowing, there's nothing wrong there. So if it's a little swollen, meh, no problem, no big deal. She said where she's concerned is the left one, because it looked like it maybe spilled a little bit from the images, but she said even from the images she can tell they had to put a lot of dye in there. And her concern with that is that if it's not patent or open, if I ovulate from that side, the egg can't get into my uterus to be fertilized. She said she's also concerned that if it is swollen, it's leaking fluid, impede implantation, and that sort of thing. And she said if we move on to IVF, she wouldn't want me to keep that tube because there's a chance that the fluid that's leaking out of it could wash the embryo out, and we obviously don't want that. So she suggests that if we go down the IVF route, she would want me to get that tube out. Which I like don't really have any reservations about that, but she also wants to just repeat that HSG because she said if it spills fine and there's not really an issue, then we can move on with like a medicated IUI or intrauterine insemination, a couple rounds of that and see, and then we can move on to IVF. She also kind of said that it was up to us if we just wanted to get on the IVF schedule because it does take a few months to like get in to even like see them for an initial consultation. So what we chose is we chose to repeat the HSG to see what that left tube, really both tubes, but specifically the left tube looks like. And she said that she'll leave it up to us, that they'll review my results that day, and that if that tube is still blocked or like swollen, not really spilling, then she said we can just go right on ahead and call IVF and get on their schedule. And she said that she would be open to doing some IUIs in the meantime. And if we get pregnant that way, great. Like, you know, no big deal. And then we just don't need to go to our IVF appointment. We can cancel it. and she said that we could talk about then taking out that left tube. So that's kind of where we are. My HSG is not scheduled until my January cycle, just because with how it all landed, when I needed the HSG for this month, it was going to be around Christmas. They only do them 1 day a week, and that day was the day that they do them is already booked. So it didn't work out for my December schedule, which is totally fine. Like we're not like in a like huge rush. Like we are getting married in September of next year. So while we want to like get everything figured out and like get down the road of like having a baby, I don't want to be 9 months pregnant walking down the aisle. So it's okay if we wait a month or two, and like we've discussed, we probably really wouldn't even want to start IUI until like March or April, because that would put me around 20 weeks at our wedding. And I don't mind showing, I just don't want to be like huge because you're uncomfortable. Like I don't really care if I'm pregnant in my wedding pictures, like that doesn't bother me. Like Taylor and I have been together for 6 years. Like it's not like this was like a shotgun wedding or anything, you know? So that doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that I don't want to be uncomfortable at my wedding. I want to enjoy myself, and I'm not like a huge drinker, so that part doesn't really bother me either. So that's kind of where we are. I'm gonna try to be more active on my channel. My life has been a little bit insane, obviously because COVID and I'm a nurse, but even before that, like we were just really busy. I plan on doing updates as often as possible as far as like infertility goes, but also just like regular like life. Like I just haven't. Thanks for watching my video, guys. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're invested in this infertility journey with us. Also leave any comments down below. Also in my description there are my social media links to follow me there. Thanks for watching my video. Bye. I also just like wanted to make it pretty clear that we are just excited to have answers, and we're not like down about these things. I know like some people, when they get the diagnosis of like infertility, or in our case secondary infertility, they're upset about it, and like we obviously knew there was an issue. You know, you don't try to get pregnant for three, almost 4 years, have one pregnancy that ends in a miscarriage, and that's it. Like if there's nothing wrong. So I just wanted to say that. And I want to encourage you, if you're in the same boat and you know you've been trying for 6 months to a year, go talk to your OB. There are tests that they can run before it's been a year, even if you're under 35, because you know if you've been trying for 6 months, they can test to make sure you're ovulating, because if you're not ovulating, you're obviously not gonna get pregnant. And just do like some things like that. You know, you don't have to put yourself through the awful emotional roller coaster month after month after month before you go get help. So I hope that helps somebody out there. That's really the whole reason I started this channel, was to just tell our story. So even if it just helps one person, I've met my goal.